What's your self-talk? Welcome back to my channel, Living and Investing in Bryan-College Station. And for those of you who are new, I'm streaming to IG, I'm streaming to Facebook, so I'll be doing some moving around, making sure I'm in my frame, but this is the first time. But I wanted to start this is because as I have the pleasure to coach and mentor people and just hear concerns of clients that I talk to, and even talking to some of my people that I'm helping through the process of just being first time home buyers. Here's what I realized: a lot of people get into these mental funks when they start the journey, when they start the process. And this is something that I teach in our course, but I realized that I need to do a better job of mentally helping people understand, like, okay, the process when it comes to buying a first home and buying your first investment, for me, psychologically, is the exact same thing. So when I say psychologically, I mean like it's things that you have to mentally be able to process and to do better when it comes to putting your mind on the right emphasis, instructions, and information. Because what I realize is a lot of things, and I'm gonna you can use my board because that is why I'm super excited today, because I get to use my board because I'm such a visual learner, and sometimes it's so hard for me to give slides and presentations. So that's why I always try to do this in this setting. But I want let me just start with this. So I got my whiteboard. Shout out to my mentor. He got this to me. So let me make sure this actually you can see this. But all right, so I want you to think about most people. It don't really matter where you're at. If you're in Texas, Arkansas, wherever in the world. So I'm gonna use just a real general number to help you understand. So let's say someone wants to buy $100,000 property. Okay, so this is your property. Okay, so that's what everybody wants. They want their first property. Okay. And let's say this is what you're pre-approved for, because oftentimes you don't get approved for what you want. Or even when you're looking at investment property, sometimes you have to look at some distressed properties, meaning the property maybe needing work, or you just don't have that much money that comes out of pocket, because as you know, I do teach a lot of the no money out of your pocket strategy. So it's a lot more upfront work that has to be done. And when I mean upfront work, oftentimes it's you have to search for the property, you have to be able to find it's going to be a good fit for you, whatever. Now, let's say, all right, so everybody want to have this property. They want to call the first, or they want to call me in the first house that they look at. Oftentimes, they want that to be a good fit for them, or even they get discouraged because they realize like the average price point in a certain area is 300,000. Well, I feel like, man, like this is just the average. So the average price point for most houses is 300,000. Now this is here in Texas. Now if I'm in Arkansas, it's gonna be a little bit lower, but still, like if I'm only can get $100,000 property, here's where I see people mess up. So it's three levels to getting your first property, but this is a mental, psychological thing. So bear with me. So it's this process called be, do, and have. All right. So what does that mean? We want to be the person that has this property, and oftentimes we want to jump out the gate and get this property. Make sure I get another pen. Oftentimes we want to be here. Hey, this is who I want to be. I want to be the person that owns this, my first home that's at a $300,000 house, or make sure you can see me on Instagram. Or you're the person that says, man, I get discouraged when this is as little as I can be able to buy. I can only buy $100,000 property. And so what happens is this. This is who, excuse me, this is what we want to have. We want to have the property. And we want to build a legacy through real estate. But this is where we mess up. We start at the half. See, this is in chronological order for a reason, because you cannot, and I repeat this, you cannot be the type of person that own this property if you don't work on you. You've heard so many people say, listen, you need to be able to improve who you are. Invest in yourself before you invest in anything else. That's why I'm so big on coaching. That's why I like, and all my clients that I help and even agents I train, like, do a buyer consultation. Like, do a first meeting. I do that for 30 minutes and I educate you. I answer your questions. And even when it comes to investing, I don't even go on like how many properties you want to get. I ask you the question, why do you want to do this? Because oftentimes we need to put more emphasis on the being. Because when we want to be a person that build a legacy through real estate, or we want to own a $300,000 home, oftentimes we have to start right here at this $100,000 home. And I was talking to a friend just the other day, and they was like, "Man, I only got approved for $100,000, or maybe 150." And you say the average price of 300,000, like, man, well, I can't get no houses for that. Now here's the reality: you can get those houses. I know as an investor, these deals do exist. Sometimes, these deals do exist, but oftentimes it takes more work to be able to get that $100,000 house, especially in the college section. Now, if you're in my other area, Arkansas, this is probably a decent deal, depending on the area. The area you're in. But you say, all right, but now, what do I do, Jabari, to be the person that's going to get to this $300,000 home? Sometimes you have to start here, and sometimes you have to start less. But we have such a very short span. This instant gratification mindset is that we don't realize that in order to get to here, we have to start here. And sometimes we have to start off. Sometimes we just need to work on improving our credit, or improving the money that we have, or improving the creativity. It's so many ways that you can be able to get deals done. And you hear people say this and you hear people speak to this, but then often, like, when you start signing up for programs and you're like, oh man, this is a lot of work. Oh, I gotta do what? And when you get mixed up in like, oh, this is gonna take longer than I expected it was gonna be, this is your issue. You're not being the person that's willing to do. Let's talk about doing. So, guess what? If I say I want to be this right person, I have to do something. That leads to action, activity. You have to be able to have activity that's going to allow you to have the type of lifestyle, the property that you want. Because what happens when you don't do the necessary things? You can't have it. I was one of my coaching clients. It reminded me of a quote I was telling them about. I said, action breeds confidence, but inaction breeds doubt and fear. So when you are doing something that's going to get you towards your goal, maybe this is your goal, and the more that you do the necessary work, do the activity, you can get closer. Now, but guess what if you don't start? If you don't start being the type of person that you need to be, meaning you don't do the necessary work, and in this case, it's sometimes it's being the right person, having the right mindset, saying, hey, I need to invest in myself. Now you need to start looking at properties. I need to start educating myself to understand the process. Then I got to start thinking of creative ways, because oftentimes I can be negative about the process and then I just give up. But what happens? You see something online. Someone says something and it inspires you, it encourages you. You say, hey, I actually do want to do this. And then you start again. And then guess what? You give up. Because you're not focused on being the right person first. Stop looking at, I want the $100,000 homes. I want the 15 properties. I want to get the house that's sitting on an acre and it's a 2,500 square foot house. I want you to have all those things. But in order to get to that point, in order to get to that portfolio, you have to be the right person that can do the necessary work in order to have the type of lifestyle you want. So And this takes time. Me and my wife and my mentors and the people that I look up to, we didn't get here yesterday. I'm going over 7 years plus. And so when I educate you, it's not about just reading the books. It's not about me going reading the chapter and then coming on live and then telling you, hey, man, you can do this. I'm telling you because sometimes I have to be able to read the books to start putting the right information in my brain. I have to start reading the right um, information so that I can maintain that. And that's another thing. As you get in this journey of having this type of lifestyle that you want, then guess what? The being part, sometimes this increase. This will increase to say, hey, well, man, I've got to here. Now I'm ready. Now I'm ready to. Oh no, let's up it. And guess what? In order to up that amount to 500,000, and now I'm like, okay, well, that's gonna put me at somewhere north of 2 million. It's what ideally, what either a house or an investment, regardless of where you're at. Guess what I got to work on? Me being the right person who's willing to do the necessary work in order for me to have the lifestyle, the property that I want. So I tell you this because in order to get your first property, I don't care if it's a rental, I don't care if it's your first property, you still have to go through the same cycle. I had to go through it, and anybody else that you go listen to, that you pay for a course through, that you read a book with, they're going to tell you the exact same thing. So I can save you some time and money now. But the thing you need to do more of is start doing more activity. And sometimes doing means getting in environments, start sometimes paying for coaching and mentoring. Sometimes sometimes paying for I got a message that came in. Sometimes paying for the people who's going to hold you accountable. Because here's the thing: one of the weaknesses about me that I understand is that I have to have environments and communities of people that can pour into me, but that places I can be able to verbally process. And that means these have to be trusted individuals. So self-care for me, oftentimes is like I gotta be around people who I can trust, I can open up to, but then sometimes who is further along in me so they can hear either my mental state different than I'm hearing it or I'm processing it, or my financial state, or my marriage state, my spiritual state, and all those communities are very important. Oftentimes you have to pay to get in these. Now, sometimes these are a lot of free environments. Prime example, when it comes to building a legacy through real estate, one of the things I do, Cash Flow Friday, is once a month we'll have an in-person meeting where we'll play a game that help me do the necessary work to be the right person that can own investment properties to start building a legacy through real estate. And what did I have to do? I had to not only play this game, and I tell people this often. The reason I played this game and now I teach it is because it helps me mentally think about what are the things that I need to do better. Psychologically, it does something to me emotionally, internally, and then there's certain practices that I have to do on a weekly, monthly basis in order for me to have the necessary thing. And same thing when it comes to you purchasing your first property. Yes, you want to make sure you have all the information, but you're going to need to have a good real estate agent and a good team that's going to carry you along and answer your questions, because at some point you cannot no longer rely on the information that you looked up online. You can't rely on all the things you read. You have to reach out to somebody, whether it's a builder, a real estate agent, a broker, or your bank officer, because they have more information and more insight, but they're going to help you to move forward. Everyone is different. And oftentimes I come across to those people who need that encouragement, they need that push. And if that's not you, great. Send it to somebody that you know that's gonna be valuable to. But I just want you guys to know this: being, doing, and having. You cannot have the first property if you're not willing to be the person and get in an environment, get in a space where people is going to push you and going to challenge you to become better than who you are. So, yes, if you're looking to be able to purchase a property in the Bryan-College Station area and you wanted to invest, or it's going to be just your first home, I have a time and I have a calendar that I'll put on all my pages where you can be able to schedule a time. I always say call, text, email, or schedule a time. If you're somebody who's looking to invest in real estate, yes, me and my wife have successfully built 18 properties and more with short-term rentals, and I'm ready to be able to give you the opportunity to coach you, mentor you, and help you get to your first investment property. But even if it's not me, understand that you have to get to someone that's going to get you more confidence, more understanding, so that you can first know who it is you need to be, and then it's going to push you to do the activity. It's going to push you to look at the property. It's going to push you to analyze them. And then guess what? Then and only then, when you go through these necessary stages, you can be able to have the type of house you want, type of lifestyle you want, the type of health you want, the type of spiritual relation you want. This applies to everything. So thank you for watching. This was my first time doing a live. I'm on all three platforms. Instagram, I know a little bit narrow, so I've been trying to stay within this frame, so hopefully you can be able to see this well. Thank you for Facebook and also YouTube. So thank you for watching. Please make sure you subscribe if you're on my channel, as I continue to give you different videos about just the area of Bryan-College Station and also investment opportunities that come up. Constantly building relationships, so it's much easier for you guys to understand when you're ready to make that step into your property or investment, or if you're already started and you just want to make sure you have the right people in your team, reach out to my team. I'm looking forward to help you. Thank you for watching. Until next time.